excited. I have Miss Megan RoMine here today. And did I pronounce it right now? I
That's right.
did. Okay. And Miss Megan is the Mermaid Realtor. So it's so nice to have you, Megan. Hi.
Yes, hi. Thank you so much for the time to speak with me today.
Of course. Thank you. Well, would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself so the audience can get an idea of who you are and what you do and what your experience in business is?
Yes, of course. So I am the owner of a Mermaid Realtor. I have a team of real estate agents. I've been in the real estate industry for a little over a decade. For the first 6 years, I was in corporate real estate. So I was in corporate America. Was working for developers. And I had moved to South Florida, and I didn't know anyone in South Florida, but I moved down here for a development job, and I fell in love with the ocean. I fell in love with diving. I fell in love with spearfishing. I started scuba diving and then freediving competitively, and I just loved it so much. I wanted to find a way to share it with other people and tie it into a business. So I ended up leaving my comfy corporate America real estate job to start Mermaid Realtor, and the rest is kind of history from there.
I love that. That is so cool. And how did you come up with the name, the Mermaid Realtor? Because of the diving you fell in love with? Is that how it?
Yeah, so I personally felt like the ocean had changed my life. It changed my mindset, the way that I thought about a lot of things in the world, and it made such a big difference. And I was already in the real estate industry, and I started thinking, I really want to start my own business. And I was like thinking of names, and I couldn't believe that when I went on the Florida website that the name Mermaid Realtor wasn't taken as a business. I'm like, wait, there's like so many mermaids in South Florida, and everyone, is in real estate. So it's like, oh, this is perfect. And I just felt like it really fit for like my values and what I enjoyed. And then what I found over time is that not only was it easy for people to remember, but people would either relate to it or just be very curious about what it means. Like, oh, why is it, Mermaid Realtor? And then I was able to share, my passion, like for the ocean, for diving, sustainable spearfishing, and it all tied together.
All right, so we're talking about building your own business from scratch. And like you mentioned earlier, you left your corporate job and you wanted to create your own thing. Could you please give us like the walkthrough of how you came about from here to there?
Yes, definitely. I have to be honest and say that, it was very scary, a very scary change, because I went from corporate America where, I had great benefits. I was making a great salary. Most of my living expenses were paid for. But I just knew that there was more out there for me. So to be able to quit this job and then not know if I'm even going to get a paycheck, right? Move out of like the beautiful place that I had where I was working for the developer. It was scary, and I started from ground zero. Like, I didn't have like a portfolio of clients to bring with me. I didn't grow up in South Florida. When I moved to South Florida, I didn't know anyone here. The first time I came to Fort Lauderdale was when I drove my car here to work for a developer. So it was definitely scary at first, but I knew that I loved real estate, and I knew that I could use some of the business practices that I had with developers and transfer that over to my business. So it really was just about consistency and working hard and learning more, and finding the right mentors too. That was a big thing for me.
Oh, I love that. That's such a key, is to find a good mentor and being able to kind of follow in their footsteps, because we always say success leaves clues. Don't try to reinvent the wheel too much. So I'm glad you mentioned that. So, and like you said, I mean, you've learned a lot, and this process wasn't overnight for you. Now, let me ask you, if you had to start all over again from scratch, restarting a brand new realtor business, knowing everything that you know now, and going through those experiences, what would the process be for launching?
Well, definitely branding yourself because, you know, as a real estate agent, you have to have your license with a brokerage. So whether you're with Remax or Douglas and Elliman, you know, there's a possibility that you may change 2 or 3 times. I've went through a few different brokerages, so it's really important to brand yourself so that if you make a move, people are going to remember who you are. You know, the name of the brokerage. I feel like a lot of agents think that when they switch brokerages, you know, that's going to make such a big difference in their life. A brokerage name is not going to make or break you. What's going to make or break you is what you do to build your brand. So the best thing that I did was brand myself. And if I could go back in time, just really, you have to have patience. So, because everyone in South Florida is a real estate agent, you walk around the corner, your Uber driver, your mom, like literally everyone. And statistically speaking, 80% of full-time agents drop out of the industry within 2 years. And even more important than that, they showed in the United States last year that 96% of agents sold less than 2 homes. So it's like, how are you going to not only build your business, but also how are you going to really help people? You're dealing with people's largest investment of their lives. And I'm going to tell you, what you learn in the real estate class, I'm sorry, it's not relevant. It's not going to help you sell more houses. It's not going to help safeguard your client's deposit. So it's very scary for the general public because they think, oh, I have a real estate agent. They have the real estate license, and it doesn't really help anything. So to find the right mentor, I was very, very lucky enough to find a mentor. I took a much lower commission split. I worked my butt off. But I can tell you, if it wasn't for that person showing me how to do the deals, how to negotiate right, then I wouldn't be anywhere close to where I'm at now. And with that person's help, I doubled my income within 1 year. So by taking that lower split, but learning was so integral and so important. So going back, I wouldn't change anything, but I think that it's important to note patience. Whenever I went full-time on my own, it took over a year to sell one house. So people think that, oh, I'm going to get my real estate license and I'm going to sell all these beautiful houses and make all this money. It's not how it works.
Right.
I built my business off rentals and hustled rentals for a long time. And another thing too is just stay very consistent with whatever you do. I'm the kind of person that I go in 110%. It's either I don't do it or I'm going to do it 110%. And one thing that I did do while building my business is I spent tens of thousands of dollars on different marketing strategies. I mean, everything that you can think of. Did I get a rate of return? I did, but on some of them, it was pretty minimal. And at the end of the day, what really going to help you is the relationships that you build with people. So if you stop focusing on how many deals am I going to get this month, how much money am I going to make this year, if you're able to just wake up every day and truly enjoy what you like and enjoy connecting with people, that's going to build your business, not the spending $2,000 a month on Zillow.
100%. It's always about providing that extra level of value to people. I mean, people are business, you know, we got to see them as people, not as the sale or as the business. So that's a great point. I like that. So I've been watching and following you for a minute, and I mean, it's really interesting to me to hear the story of not selling your first house for a year and having that patience, because now some of the properties you're listing are in the 32 mil. And yes, please, I want one of those soon enough. But no, you've been listing some gorgeous, gorgeous properties, even what look like concept still, right? Concept properties.
Yeah, so I do a little mix of everything. So for me now, as I've grown my business and as I've grown as a person, it's more important to me to connect with the person and what a person's needs are and how I'm going to help them versus what type of property I'm going after. You know, you can sell a 7-figure house and that's fantastic, but for me, I get just as much enjoyment out of if I sell $150,000 house, if I'm truly helping a family and helping keep someone informed. And I know that as long as I do my job the right way, and I always have my client's best interest in mind, that I'll keep building referrals from that.
So, could you give me an example of one or more of your biggest fears that you've had to overcome to reach the level of success that you have?
Yes. Some of the biggest fears is it kind of works to your advantage a little bit, but especially in the beginning, like you have no idea if you're going to get paid, where your paychecks are going to come from. So I think that being in corporate America and having that stability to going and not having any stability. And then also, in the beginning, it's just like anyone else that starts out. You aren't really sure which way to go, what to do. So to like have a good mentor and to just really keep pushing through things that are uncomfortable. So like for me, like hosting events and doing things that are outside of the box, or I've cold called before, I've door knocked, I've done all of that different stuff that I didn't actually really enjoy and made me feel really uncomfortable. But at least by trying that and getting used to that, I would say that was some of my biggest fears. And, the fear of failure is something that can drive you, but also being able to fail and then learn from that is the greatest achievement. And that's where you're going to learn the most from.
I agree with you 100%. We're all about taking those fears and turning them into profits, and success and happiness. So I love that you said that. So obviously we're currently still under the whole COVID situation. How have you been pivoting through this process?
Well, it's very interesting with the real estate market because whenever this first happened, everyone, of course, was, what's the real estate market going to do? Oh my goodness, the real estate market is going to crash. But for me, I know that regardless of what happens in the market, people are always going to need a place to live. So, I do a lot of residential sales. And my thought process was when this first happened is, okay, the people that are doing the forbearance on their mortgages, if this continues to happen, this is going to turn into short sales and foreclosures. So the first thing that I did is start to take short sale and foreclosure classes to brush up on that because I hadn't done a foreclosure for quite some time. So I was just preparing myself, worst case scenario, you have to be able to shift with the changes. But for me, it worked out because it gave me more time to be able to connect with my client base. So anyone that I'd ever sold a home to, I took the time to sit down and write some handwritten thank you cards. It just gave me a better time to really connect with people. So of course I was strategizing in the back of my mind, like, okay, if my business shifts, how am I going to shift? But what happened with the real estate market is interest rates have dropped so low, and then the inventory is low. It is wild. I mean, when I get listings, as long as we're pricing them accurately, they go off the market. I'm selling my house right now because the appraised value came in 17% higher than 12 months ago. 17% higher on a return of an investment in 12 months. So real estate right now has stayed very strong. We don't know what the future is going to hold for that. But really, it once again goes back to building relationships. So when my clients say, hey, I'm thinking about selling my house, one of my first questions is, well, where are you going to? Like, what is your long-term goal? Because at the end of the day, if you're going to sell your house, I think the most important thing is where are you going to be happy with when you move? So it goes back to just always keeping your client's best interests in mind and making sure that they're happy.
I love that. So being successful in your industry, what would you consider the biggest pillar of profitability is in relation to your business, of course, because what we're doing is focusing on the business development, marketing, sales, and then of course, mind and body wellness. So which one of those four would you say has probably made the biggest difference for you in your business?
So I would have to say that there's two parts to this. So first of all, in business, when it comes to business and your well-being, so if your business is right here and then your personal health and well-being is right here, your business can only get so high. So you always have to be working on yourself, because if you're not happy yourself, you're not going to be able to do your job properly. You're not going to enjoy your job as much. And happiness does not come from making more money or buying the brand new car or getting the new house or X amount of dollars. Like, they've done scientific studies on this. And I have to be transparent and say that I have been there at one point in my life where I checked off all of these boxes and I had thought, this is what's going to make me happy. And I sat there and I wasn't happy. I had done all of this great stuff, but at the end of the day, didn't feel truly happy. So I had to revert back to finding happiness in everyday situations. And what I found that was giving me the most value was providing value to other people and to do things for other people. And then that's when I started to get involved in nonprofits, volunteer work, things of that nature. And I feel like the more that I give back, the better that I'm actually able to do my job. So that's one part of it. The second part, if we go strictly to business, with the marketing aspect, being able to connect with people, social media. 1/3 of my new business last year came from Instagram. So I think that staying present, staying connected, and also a word of advice I would give to someone just new in the industry is have different outlets. Like, no one wants to see just real estate. Like, that's kind of boring, right? They want to see something that they can relate to. So for me, it was like the diving and the fishing. And then now it's gotten more of like well-being, healthy lifestyle. So I feel like as long as you're being true to yourself and what really makes you happy, and making sure that external things are motivating you to do certain things, that's where you're going to find the best results.
I really like that advice, being present on social media and being who you are as a person and showing yourself as that, and the little things you enjoy about life. You're better able to connect to people, and you connect to real people that eventually you can help and provide value to, that can turn into clients. So that's a great point for a lot of people that don't even know how to use social media or care not to use social media. Yeah.
I think that it's a good mix, because when you first get in real estate, it's like, oh, post a bunch of houses, and like, I don't get much feedback from, like, I mean, I will sell my listings from things on Instagram, but I don't get like a whole lot of connecting with people through posting just solely real estate. So I do like to try to show transparency, because at the end of the day, like, social media, sometimes it's not always the healthiest thing. So I think that it's important too to show people, like, you're a real person, like, you go through real things, and like something that shows that you can connect with other people.
Yeah. Very nice. Could you define success for us?
Yeah, so for me, I mean, it's definitely changed, like I briefly touched on before. Transparently, when I first got in the industry, I'm like, okay, like, I have all of these goals that are tied to certain outcomes, whether it's the income, how many deals, this or that. And I have done a complete 360 from that. So success for me now in my life is waking up every day, doing something that I absolutely love, being able to give back and connect with other people. I mean, that is true success for me. And to have the freedom to be able to do that. So like, I have the freedom to wake up and literally do whatever I want every day. And what am I doing? I'm calling my clients. I am trying to find the right deals. I'm making deals happen, because that's truly what I want to do. So that would be the success for me.
I love that. So I'm curious, we all have our routines, especially in the morning, to get your day started and have that intent and that mindset. Will you give us an example of yours?
I love my morning routine. So I am such a morning routine person. So I love to wake up really early. So my thing, and like my friends always make fun of me, but I go to bed like pretty early. I go to bed at like 10 o'clock. It's very important to get enough sleep to be able to function properly. So I wake up early, usually around 6 a.m. I take a few minutes. I make sure not to pick up my phone right away because I used to do this. I used to pick up my phone, check social media, do this and that. Sometimes I do that, but most of the time I'm like, okay, don't do that yet. I give myself a couple minutes. I make sure I wake up, I make my bed, I take care of my dog. I write down my daily gratitude journal. So every single day I write down what I'm grateful for in life. And then I do my exercise routine. I typically do about 40-45 minutes. I try to do something I enjoy, like a bike ride and something like that. After that, I do meditation. So even if it's just 10 minutes, to be able to stop your mind and to really get centered for the day really helps me. And then after that, I get ready and then I jump on my phone, jump on my emails. And I think that waking up early is important because I get all of that done before people are calling and before everything gets a little hectic. So that's kind of like a morning. Oh, and I always have my morning smoothies.
I see those. Those look yummy. I love it.
So a morning is so important because sometimes it's good to mix it up, but I'm most productive when I'm staying like on my routines, I'm getting enough sleep, I'm staying healthy, and that's when I can perform and enjoy the day the most.
I love it. Any other advice you want to give our audience? Personal or professional?
Well, I think that staying consistent with whatever that you want to do is very important. Also, patience. I mean, that was the big thing for me. And my mentor would always be like, Megan, you have to have more patience. Because I'm like, no, I want everything now. And I would work like crazy hours. And at the end of the day, it's important to be successful and to work hard, but you do have to have some kind of balance in life. And what I've found, and especially in the last 3 to 4 years, is that in life, the people around us and the people that we connect with is going to be one of the most important things that's ever going to happen. So stay healthy, connect with others, stay consistent, and do what is true to you. I feel like as long as you're working within your own purpose and within your own passion, things are going to start to come together. So if that's any word of advice, that's what I would give.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. How can people connect with you? What's the best way?
Yes, connect with me at any time through my phone number, 443-798-1234. Social media, Mermaid Realtor for Instagram. Facebook, Megan RoMine, Mermaid Realtor. And my email address, megan@mermaidrealtor.com.
I love it. You can't forget that. Like you can't miss that.
So, just find, and also one other point that I would like to say is find a way to bring value to other people. So even if you're not potentially making income from something, if you can add value to other people, that's going to be something that resonates with them. So find a way to add value and just keep learning as much as you can so you can best assist your clients in your business.
That's the best advice. It truly is. I love it. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this with us. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Vez. Thanks for having me.